Good morning. It is early. It is so early that I left my coffee inside. You know what that means? I gotta go get it. Be right back. Phew, that was close. Almost didn't have my coffee. But we'll do an autumn scene. Sounds like a good idea because it's that time of year, and looking out at my clouds right now, that's what I want to emulate. So let's see how well we can do that. I am going to wet just kind of up in this area. Like I said, I really don't know how this is going to handle the water, but we're just going to see how it does. While I've got this in my hand, I'm going to grab some ultramarine and just kind of, oh, not too bad, drop that in. But what I'm also going to do is just kind of leave my clouds. Just everything above it will be blue, a little darker at the top. Just like that. I do want to put a little bit more at the top while it's still wet. There we go. Don't know if it's going to matter at this point getting it tilted, but we will try just a little bit. All right, so far so good. So below that, and just put in a little bit of gray, kind of give these clouds a little life. They're going to be pretty much obscured by trees, but just having that foundation in there is all I really want. Okay. Might drop a little more blue. Not that it's going to matter, but just because we can. Okay, there we go. All right, this little path, and I'm gonna say right about here we can start pulling that in and pull it over to the side here, and really that's all it needs. Okay. All right, and then we might as well get some kind of a foundation for our horizon line. And I'm gonna start with some of the Q Gold, put it in pretty lightly, and just kind of gonna have some of that over there, some of this over here, some of it higher up. Now, I could have mapped out my trees, but I'm gonna do it a little differently this time. I'm just pulling in the lightest areas that I see so far. We'll have some darker greens in there, but this is going to be more in the distance, this area right here. But I want to pull some right up in here. I don't know what we're going to call that. We want this to dry just a little too. We're going to have some coming over from the side. Get some of that yellow in here. Probably going to be the tallest tree that we have. You know what I didn't do is Aussie red gold, and I love that color too. So let's add that. And really, just while this is wet, I'm just going to start coming down on this area with some of this. Let's add a area over here for a tree that's more, there we go, coming out from around, some more back here. And then to tap, don't want it in my sky, but I do want to get some smaller bits here and there of this color. I don't mind at the bottom, but I just want some smaller areas. You know what, we could just go ahead and put a tree back here. I might end up putting in some pen and ink, you know, whatever. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do today, but then I found a picture on Unsplash that I really kind of liked with the fall colors and the scene itself. So I thought, let's just go with that. Very lightly. In fact, I'm hoping I can tap it. Let's wait till this dries for a minute, give it a chance to catch up so that I can cover it up and get just the area I want. We'll be right back. Okay, my impatience is getting the best of me. Let's go ahead and work down here while we're waiting. So in this area down here, we're gonna have a little bit of green. We're gonna have a lot of leaves that have fallen. But on this side over here, I'm gonna put in some dark, like evergreen kind of shrubbery. So let's go in with, let's start with the desert green. Such a cool color. Let's start with that, and we're just literally going to be putting in just right at the bottom here some of this darker. And then I'm going to also have some over here, but I'm going to put it in afterwards over here. This area here, I've got actually some different kind of things coming up, especially in the distance. That should be enough. And then the shading is going to take care of a lot of that as well. But meanwhile, we're going to put in some, let's use all of this here because we want, that's perfect. Try to stick with this brush. Could just be a path, but it looks to me like it would be some kind of a, just a little road. This side's going to be a little lighter. The sunlight's going to be coming from this way. That's how I'm treating it anyway. All right, let's go with our Indian red, and I really want this color here. I'm going to be putting in a tree on this side that's really kind of really fine. It's just kind of like it's been shedding for longer. But getting the main shape of it is what I want to do primarily. I love Indian red. Some areas more than others. Go off just kind of like that, and we'll add some brighter colors down near the bottom. And let's see, where else can we put some of that, some of this color. All right, and let's do some over here. Let's just come in off the side here. Okay, because everything down at the bottom here is going to be dry and kind of, you know, it'll have some green in it, but like down in this area, in the darker areas off the side, I'm just going to kind of put in, and even underneath here, pull in some of this darker color, because we're going to have, like I said, the sun coming from that way, and then we'll have some residual green because there are still leaves on the trees. Yeah, it's great. Not too much, just enough to kind of give a little bit of residual green. Some of these different trees have not fully turned yet, so we're going to pull in some of that green, especially like this big one here with the yellow at the top. All right, and let's start with this one over here. because there's going to be a lot of branch showing on this one. Could use my liner brush. Just kind of doing a little behind the leaves. We go in behind so we have that lighter color really showing on top, with the branches coming in behind the leaves. Of course, in some of these areas, because these are dead branches where the leaves have already fallen. Pulling in some stuff here, there. Maybe some back here that have already lost their leaves completely off in the distance. This too, just going to give it a little bit of a darker foundation and provide some texture. Listen to those birds. I absolutely love them. My hummingbirds, I finally put the zip ties out because somebody had said, put zip ties out for them. They like to sit and rest. Well, I have one that is absolutely taking over 2 of my feeders because there's a zip tie between them. And he will sit there almost the entire day just to keep everybody else from getting on those 2 feeders. It's like his spot. He's claimed it. And he's not letting anybody else take it. All right, kind of get the feeling over here. Just a little bit more in this area. And then we can go over again with some of the darker colors. Areas here, and here as well. It's going to be more dense down in the bottom areas, less light coming through, so the white areas will have to stay at the top. As far as the areas that I want to have where you can see the sky through there, that light, but these areas down at the bottom here would stay darker. And there's a mixed bag kind of what goes on in this area. Here we're going to work on just a little with some yellow cad medium. Pull that all the way over. And let's put the very lightest, which is that volcano yellow. It might not make much of a difference, but we're going to try. We are going to have some grasses. I'm going to pull a little bit more green. This is a Shire green from Schminke, because I do want to show, back in here, some of that kind of brighter. Over here, pull in some green, some grasses kind of in the foreground here. get behind these trees. So far, this mixed media paper is doing just fine. Let's grab some more of that. I gotta be careful because the phthalo turquoise is right next to that in my palette. And I really kind of just want to stay with the Perylene. I don't know why I always call it Perylene. Dyslexic. I'm not, but if I was, that could be one reason. Pull some of that off on the side here too. Yeah, I really like having that off on the side. I think I want to put some just in this area, like it's intentional, which it is. Okay, now, actually, before I do that, I want to drop these leaves onto the ground. That would be a natural thing. The one I was using was holding, oh, it got dark. Oh my God, it's gonna storm. Can you tell how dark it got all of a sudden? We may have to take this inside. Wow, it just got so dark and the clouds are moving in really fast. So let's take this inside. Pouring down rain. We just made it. Luckily, my sunroom is right off my porch, which is where I was sitting. And that's why nothing would dry, because it's so wet out there. I always think that'll be me when I go plein air. Be outside somewhere, nice waterfall, and a storm roll in. And I've got a mile hike back to my car. I tend to stay home. So I'm going to take this one, which is my Princeton. This is the number 8 round, because I do want to get some more color. And let me see if I can pull this over here. Our colors, our little palette. Can we still see? Am I still? Yeah, you're still good. All right, we were working down in this area, and I'm going to continue to do that. But no, I'm going to pull the shadows over. And then we're going to fill in some more color in these trees once we get these shadows down. All right, in the distance, let's see how dark we're going. Still too light. Something about the shadows that just really add that last element of atmosphere. Then it's kind of coming across here. And some dotted leaf kind of shadows here and there. Really light. Okay. I love that feeling of being on a shaded path. All right, now we can get some of these colors in. I'm going to pull in some of this Pyrrole orange into this area here. Got a really good foundation now. Could go in and figure out where we want more color, less color. We're not going to do less color ever. Not if I have anything to say about it. All right. Yeah, aside from buckling a little bit, this paper is held up very well. I didn't know it was a nice dog. I didn't know it was 140 pounds. I've just been doing my gouache in there. But now I can feel it. Duh. No wonder it's handling it so well. Let's see. Let's add some branches and some green. So let's go with our little fine. Get some more of that. And let's actually get it a little lighter. Get some more branches coming in here. Tree trunks, that kind of thing. Very light. area over here. Oh my gosh, I really need this coffee. I just dipped my brush in my brush holder, my outside brush holder. I just dipped my brush in there. Good Lord, it's too early. I started way too early. Being off all week, I still keep thinking about work, so I wake up way too early. I'm gonna pull in some of that serpentine green we had earlier, right in this area, at the base of this particular tree that has all the bright yellow up there. Kind of gives it that dimension over there. And then let's do a little bit over here, not too much. Pulling that green in, just a touch here. Okay, and then I will work over here. With that area, we're gonna take that Indian red and just really, because that darkened up a lot more than I thought it would. That pyrrole orange on that background. And then also up here, we're gonna finish. Oh, I like what that did actually. I picked up some of that color. Somewhere the sunlight's catching it. And a little darker over here on this side. Some of this really pretty pyrrole orange. Because it's our painting, we can do whatever we want with it. Use a photograph or something as a reference, but don't let it, control you to the point that you don't get to put in what you want to put in. And I really love that pyrrole orange. That's the one that's really kind of shouting out to me as something really just beautiful. So I'm going to put more in. Just enough. And I think we're going to add some down at the bottom. Again, for our leaves that have fallen down on the ground. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, leave me a comment, all of that fun stuff, share, and help me keep my channel going so I can bring you some more of these simple little painting ideas. You can do something like this without a sketch. You see, I didn't sketch anything out on it. It's really just a matter of figuring out where trees would be and, really kind of whatever environment you feel good about. And I always love seeing areas that have a lot of trees, and I love the fall colors. But leave me a comment. Let me know where you're viewing from and what you think about our little project here. Let's grab some Perylene. Can't remember which one is which. It's this one here. And now, very, very lightly, I'm going to pull in some of those grasses again. Just very, that was a little too gently. It's probably hard for you to see that. There we go. And a little bit over here. Because like I said, this is the foreground. A little more detail. Okay, I think we are good to go. Let's go ahead and remove our tape. And I'm glad I saved this little half page. I am the worst about taking the tape off. I never can remember which side I did first. There we go. See, I like it when it just kind of goes around. That is the downside of this paper. I've seen it happen before where the tape can lift off, but I'm not worried about it because, you know, in this area, I'm just not concerned about it. I'm going to trim this either way to about a quarter, about half of what's here, because you can see where I had cut off. You may be able to see it, where I had cut off from a prior painting. I trimmed it off. I didn't like it, so I got rid of it. But I was playing with gouache. I was doing some things with gouache. But anyway, there's our finished product. I hope you enjoyed doing this with me. And again, like I said, I hope you will hit like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Hit that bell if you want to be reminded of when new videos are uploaded. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thanks and take care.